They say some places never sleep and neither do their ghosts. Imagine working alone in an abandoned hospital where the only sound is your own footsteps until you start hearing something else. The graveyard shift is more than just a late-night job. It's an invitation to a world that was never meant for the living. And for one security guard, it became a waking nightmare. It started like any other shift, walking empty halls, checking locked doors, and watching flickering security monitors. But then, strange things began to happen. The cameras picked up movement in rooms that had been empty for decades. A wheelchair rolling on its own, lights flickering in a pattern like Morse code, and the faint rhythmic beep of a heart monitor, coming from a floor where power had been cut years ago. He told himself it was just his mind playing tricks, but deep down, he knew something wasn't right. One night, he saw a figure on the monitor, a woman in a hospital gown standing motionless in a hallway. Heart pounding, he rushed to the spot, but the hallway was empty. No footprints, no sound, just a lingering scent of antiseptic and something rotten. Then his radio crackled, static at first, then a voice, soft and distant. "You're not supposed to be here." Fear clawed at his chest, but he had to know the truth. Digging through old records, he found a chilling report. Years ago, a nurse had vanished during a late shift, her body never found. Staff whispered about her presence, but no one spoke openly. Those who did claimed they saw her reflection in windows or heard her soft humming in the halls. And the strangest part? Every single one of them eventually quit, or disappeared. Determined, he set up cameras everywhere, hoping to catch proof of the impossible. But what he saw the next night nearly drove him mad. On the screen, his own figure walked down the hall, except he was sitting at the desk, watching. The other version of him stopped, turned to the camera, and smiled. And then, the feed cut to black. The final shift came unannounced. The power failed, plunging the hospital into darkness. The emergency lights flickered on, casting eerie, shifting shadows. And then footsteps, slow, deliberate. They weren't his. The radio crackled once more, the voice sharper this time. "It's time to clock out." By the time the morning crew arrived, the security office was empty. His uniform and radio lay neatly on the desk. The cameras had been wiped. No trace of him remained. But sometimes, in the quiet hours of the night, the monitors still flicker on by themselves. And if you listen closely, you might hear the hum of a long-forgotten lullaby drifting through the empty halls.